Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories, how we found and fulfilled our purpose. My name is Katja, and I'm a mentor for light workers. Today, I'm here with Mary Jo Van Horn, who is inspired by the Secret movie and founded the Secret University, which is intuitively teaching women and men how to apply the secret to their everyday life so that they can live the life they truly want. So we will be talking a lot about the secrets today. So let's get started and dive right into Mary Jo's journey. So welcome, Mary Jo.
Hello, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
And I'm so excited to have you here so we can talk about the secrets that are not the secrets anymore. So we are sharing those today. So I just introduced you very briefly. So could you share a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Um, I I don't like to use labels, so I'm going to introduce myself as someone who intuitively guides people um, based on my own journey of self-esteem. Learning about self-esteem, I often refer to myself as a self-taught self-esteem expert. You know, that level of confidence that we have within ourselves. And the work that I do is very much to open people up to the awareness of the untruths, or what I call their limiting beliefs that they are carrying, mostly subconscious, and open them up to that clarity so they can then change that, right? Because we cannot change what we do not know. And so when we become aware of the untruths we're carrying about ourselves, we can release them and then free up space and energy for what is true for us. And that is, part of what's required to really have the life that you want in all areas of your life.
And I love that because that's what life, our purpose sometimes, like you shared that you are self-learned experts. So life always gives us opportunities like, okay, this was a challenge once, but you can work your way through, and your story is one of those that can inspire so many because you
Yes.
work through your own, like some challenges, things that might have blocked you, but you were like, okay, let me find a way to break through from this and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
move
It,
forward.
it, it was really my own journey, Katya, about learning my life's purpose, or maybe reconnecting to my life's purpose. And I know that my life's purpose is helping others to step into their full sense of self-worth, self-respect, and self-love. And that has been my journey. So my biggest challenge then has now, I now see as my life's purpose in helping others to do that for themselves.
Love it. I just got chills when you
Yeah.
just shared that. Like it resonated a lot. Like, whoa. And when you said, like, how did you discover that that's what you want to do? That's the purpose. That's why you are here.
Yes. It's been a journey of a few years. My background is my career background was in media and advertising and marketing. And as I went through kind of a bump in the road, if you will, that really rocked me to my knees. And I hit rock bottom through another business venture. And it was through building myself back up that I just became pulled to learn about energy and our thoughts and our emotions and how those all play a role, and such a huge role in our lives. And I just continue to invest in myself with coaches and mentors that just brought me more and more along the spiritual path. And it was about a year ago that I invested with a gentleman out of Los Angeles here in the United States. And he taught me this exercise around your limiting beliefs. And that really is a big clue for your life's purpose. And as I learned that, it just was life-changing. And for me, that's the piece that I believe is missing from so many programs and personal development, and certainly what I feel is missing from The Secret. It's that whole section, if you will, around our limiting beliefs. Because when we carry those block us from believing and living from the truth of who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I you can see that, and I have my own journey as well, like just becoming more and more aware of those my thought patterns, my own limitations that I put to myself, and then like discovering the truth of my being. And that's exactly how you help your clients to becoming more aware. And you mentioned now The Secret movie, that you
Yes.
actually, this is something addition there that you are bringing forward, because I've heard many say like, oh yes, I read that book or watched the movie, but it doesn't work.
Right. And that's exactly my experience. A friend of mine mentioned it to me probably about 3 years ago. And I had been doing some work, around myself and really starting that journey of inner work. And I watched that movie, and I think I watched it 2 or 3 times just right in a row.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting and so fascinating to me. And I was so intrigued by it. But over time, it was like, okay, it's not working. I'm really not seeing, that I'm getting or receiving what I'm putting out there. And that's what I am so excited about to be sharing now, is the piece that's missing from that, I believe, is this whole piece around our limiting beliefs. So that the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves from childhood, mostly from childhood, and then they get validated, as we get older. Because when we're kids and something happens that we don't understand, that doesn't emotionally feel good, our brains are not developed enough to, fully understand what's going on. And so as kids, we will make up stuff about ourselves just to make sense of it. And so what we make up is the untruth, that this bad thing happened to me. It must be because I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not, something enough.
Yeah.
And then what happens is every time something, bad happens, that belief gets validated over and over, and it just becomes almost like it becomes a part of us, and it is how we go through life. And when we carry that belief that we're not enough, which isn't true, but when we carry it as true, our actions will always or eventually line up with what we believe to be true. So like in my story, when I started my own business in 2003, it was a fast success. And I had more money than I ever thought I'd have. But one of my limiting beliefs was that I didn't deserve financial abundance unless I was struggling and sacrificing. And so, and of course, when you struggle and sacrifice, you don't receive abundance. And so what I eventually did, it took me about 5 years, but I eventually self-sabotaged myself to the point that it brought me right back to, feeling like life is supposed to be hard, that I didn't deserve financial abundance. And that my third limiting belief was that, I didn't deserve vacations. I didn't deserve to take time off and relax and renew.
So you just kept working, you kind of, in a way, like, okay, receiving, but then not really enjoying.
It came, like, for the money and the vacations, they came to me, but I dismissed it.
Yeah.
Especially the money. Yeah. Dismissed it, ignored it. And then eventually, because it just didn't line up with that untrue belief that I didn't deserve it. And so for me, it showed up in money. And I think for a lot of, especially women that are in business and they are solopreneurs, they're in it by themselves, that oftentimes they're carrying that limiting belief that somehow, especially if they're struggling financially, there's a limiting belief tied, to the financial piece.
That is,
or it's showing up in your money.
Yeah, I have heard so many stories as mentoring light workers who have the challenge to receiving, and really with the value, the self-worth, like I am worthy, my gifts are worthy, and like having the energetic exchange with the like receiving money and payment for the services they're offering.
So consciously on some levels, we know that. We know we are deserving. We know we have services or products that are valuable and beneficial. But then subconsciously, when you carry those limiting beliefs that you're not worthy, right? That's the internal conflict.
Yes.
Between your conscious and your subconscious. And your actions will always line up with that subconscious belief.
Yeah, like you said, then you started sabotaging. And that can be so subtle as well. So sometimes it's kind of of course, if we would know, we wouldn't do it. That's why it's subconscious. It's not revealed to us.
Yes, I always say it's disguised as logic. So we come up with these logical reasons why we're going to do this or this or this, or why we don't invest in this, or why we don't, receive, or why we don't charge or can't charge more, or why we can't ask for the sale. It's disguised as logic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what shifted when you became aware of your limiting beliefs? They were like brought forward to the light, and you were like, okay, this is what's running me right now. So what happened then?
Well, so that's basically step one, which is the first most crucial step. And then the next step for me was to release, to let go of those limiting beliefs. Once I became aware of that, I've been carrying this belief that I don't deserve, abundance. And then to let that go. So the work became about letting that belief go, which then, frees up space and energy for what is true. That I am deserving. Yeah. And the next step, so to speak, for me, and what I teach is then to stop focusing, which is what now we're back to the secret, which is what it does such a beautiful job of letting us know that we need to focus on what we want.
Yeah.
Not on what we don't want. right? And I was so focused on all the things that were going wrong, all the things I didn't want, right? Which just that because how you are feeling, the emotions that you carry, those act as that big magnet, right? Drawing towards you people and circumstances and opportunities that match that support that. So when we focus on our frustration or the fact that we feel alone in our business, the fact that we feel unsupported, when we focus on that, we're just going to get more of it.
Yeah, but sometimes it's so much easier to focus on that. Then it's kind of like a training your mind as well where to focus. And like surely when you start, it's kind of like, oh, again, I'm thinking, well, I don't want. It's just like refocusing, like let's move.
Yes.
And later on, your train will be like trained. Your mind will be trained
Yes.
to focus
Yeah.
on what you want, and you can catching yourself like, oh, okay, let's just shift back what I want.
Yes. Yes. I just came across this quote recently, and I made it part of my personal Facebook cover photo. And it says, the greatest human weakness is our habit of fear-based thoughts.
Mm.
And I think, right, and I think that's what we need to change in our thoughts, because studies show the average adult person thinks 60,000 thoughts on average in a 24-hour period.
Wow.
So we can't possibly be conscious of all 60,000, but that's the importance of, because when we carry those limiting beliefs, our thoughts line up with those, right? Those subconscious thoughts line up with those.
Yes.
And that's what we're just drawing towards us. So so like changing that habitual way of thinking from the negative, from what we don't want to what we do want, has to be part of your journey.
Absolutely. And wow, so many thoughts we have, and then like, okay, let's start just working on those so we can. And generally, like, what are the reasons why people come to you? Like, is it that they recognize they have some negative thoughts, or what are they main? Is there a common theme why people come to you?
Yes. The most common theme is that they are dissatisfied in one or more areas of their life. And most often it is around their business. It just isn't, they're not as far along as they want to be, or it's definitely showing up in the money side of their business. And they feel like they're doing everything right, but it's just not working. Right? That is probably the most common reason. The other one is as it relates to family relationships.
Yeah.
And whether it's with a spouse, and most often they come to me when they're struggling. And what's interesting, the moms come to me saying, Mary Jo, I need you to work with my daughter or with my son. Because I know they have, he or she has self-esteem issues. And I really want, you to help them. Well, and, the interesting thing is for parents, we very much model for our children.
Yeah.
And when the parent then is open to seeing their role in that and to seeing how their own limiting beliefs are being passed on to their kids, that's when you can really change the entire family dynamic. And that's why I'm so, my life's mission is about helping kids really know their sense of self-worth, self-respect, and self-love. But I also know that in order for that to happen in the world, the adults need to get it for themselves first, so that they can then model that for our youth.
Yes, because the children are like, they and they take on like things, influences, and they grow to model, because that's how we learn. When we look and we
Mhm.
feel, and sometimes it's even like it's not always what you say, because they sense you, they feel if
Yeah.
there is some fear or like not believing yourself, even though you would say something, they get.
Yes.
Children are so clever.
Yes.
They just get you. They read you.
Yeah, because it's really the energy you put out comes from your emotions.
Mm,
Right? The emotion that you are feeling doesn't come from the words you say, although words have energy. But that's why, like, affirmations for a lot of people, they feel like they don't work because they say them and say them and say them and say them, but nothing seems to change. And I believe that's because if you can say the affirmation, I deserve abundance, I deserve abundance, I deserve abundance. But if you are carrying that subconscious belief deep down that you don't, no matter how many times you say the words, it's, if you're subconsciously believing it's not true, then it's not going to be true for you. Yeah, and it's the same way with kids, right? They are picking up the energy of our emotion, and we can't fake that.
mm,
You can't fake your energy. You can put on a smile and think, I'm just going to like fake this through today, and people might not be able to put their finger on it, but
mm.
they can feel something is off. It's the same way when you, as a business owner, if you're having those sales conversations or asking for the sale, if you got a smile on your face and you're saying the script exactly the way you're supposed to say it, but deep down you're like, you're just like dreading that they're going to say no, or you're expecting them to say no, or you're scared they're going to say no. That's really the energy you're putting out.
Mm,
And
absolutely.
then their reaction is most often going to match that. It's going to match the fear and the scarcity.
Yeah. And that happens often. You don't even know exactly, like, person can say exactly the right words, but you are feeling like, oh no, I don't want
Yeah. Yeah.
to. It's
Doesn't
sometimes
feel
hard.
right. There's something just a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's why it is. I mean, I have come to believe that true success, true abundance comes from 98% your thoughts and emotions and only 2% from strategy.
so now if somebody wants that, to be more successful, experience more of abundance, so how can they start applying this? If they have watched the movie Secret or now inspired what you have shared so far, so like, okay, yeah, I get that. Like, I have this limiting beliefs, most likely. So
Yeah.
what do I do now? Like, Mary Jo, can you, of course, contacting Mary Jo, step one. Like,
Yes.
that's the fast track. But if they want to, like, okay, where do I start this work?
Yes, and that is the tricky part, because so for me, it became a 4-step formula, and the first step was becoming aware of my limiting beliefs, and when I work with people, I do that work with you one-on-one,
Mm.
and then through you mentioned the Secret University. Through that program, I do that first step one-on-one with you. So you do become aware of your limiting beliefs. And then the steps 2, 3, and 4 are videos within the program. So they are on a members only webpage. And so you have 24/7 access to that. But that first step, and I learned for myself, is that it has to be almost a one-on-one session with someone who really understands
Mm.
this exercise and can guide you through that, so you have the clarity around that, because the other steps aren't going to work, or aren't going to work nearly as well if you continue to carry the limiting beliefs.
Yeah, and our mind, just want to add, our mind can be very tricky. We don't want to
Yes.
see something, so we just have these blind spots, like, oh, let's not look at there. And that's why when you have somebody with as skilled as you are like, okay, let's just look there. Like,
Yes.
look what's underneath that, that block.
Yep. And the other thing you can do is be mindful of how often you say the words, it is so hard to
Mm,
da 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 da, or, I just can't figure this out. Or, if you start and having those thoughts, why does this always keep happening to me? Or what's wrong with me
yeah.
that I can't or do, or that is such um, a sign, if you will, that you are coming from a place of limiting beliefs. And I do want each and every one of you that are watching this to know there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's only more truth to be revealed, right? Which is the truth that is hidden under those limiting beliefs and the emotions attached to those.
Hmm. Wow, that is such a powerful message you just shared. There is nothing wrong with you. And we all have some sort of limiting beliefs. It's just that's what we are here for in the Earth School, working through those things. And like,
Yes.
it's just part of being human, but you can become more aware of those. You can work through them. You don't need to carry them rest of your life. Like, okay, you might have them now, but there is a way out. And contacting Mary Jo, I will put all your contact details to the comments below so you can easily reach out and get the support, get help, because we are not here on our own, so we can have help and easier ways to work through these things when we have an expert guiding us through. So, do you have, if somebody's now watching this and is like, okay, yes, I need that help, I need the support, do you have a special invite or an offer for people who are watching this?
Yes. I would invite you to, or I invite you to visit my website, thesecretformula.us, and you can see different categories of your life depending on where your biggest challenges are, whether it's relationships, your money, your business, or your health. And so I invite you to just take a look around my website, and there are podcasts and videos that could be very helpful for you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, like as a first step. So I will have the website on the comments so you can easily find it. And then we are coming to the end of this interview, and I so thank you for all this information. It has been so inspiring for me to hear more about your journey and how you work through your own limiting beliefs and thoughts, and like now finding the secret of the secret and now sharing.
Yes.
So, do you have some final words or message that you would like to still share with the people who are watching this?
The final message I would like for you to hear is that you are worthy of all abundance just because you were born. And to me, true abundance is your full sense of self-worth, self-respect, and self-love.
Wow, that's powerful, and you can listen to that again and again. I am worthy, and like just opening up to believe in that. Like, first, it
Yes.
might be if you have carried certain belief for a long time, maybe it's helpful to just, I'm willing to believe, like little by little, and getting the help from Mary Jo to just imagine if you can really truly embody that message and just start living that kind of life. So it is possible for you. So thank you so much, Mary Jo,
Thank you. Thank you.
for being here, sharing your wisdom and what lovely energy you have. And I'm so excited that helping you to share the secret of the secret. And thank you all of you for watching this Path to Purpose interview. I hope this inspired you. Please do let me know and subscribe to this channel as well so you can get updates when the next video is posted. So thank you once again, Mary Jo, and bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.